Hi and welcome to my channel. My name's Giuseppina and I am an intuitive healer, and I talk a lot about things that have to do with healing and our subconscious programming, healing from narcissistic abuse, and also my autism. So speaking of autism, it is Autism Awareness Month, although some people say it's Autism Acceptance Month, although I do prefer the Autism Awareness title for it because I feel like there isn't. Sorry, I have this mic here. I keep forgetting. I don't think that there's enough awareness about what autism is and what it actually you know, what it means to be autistic and what the traits are and all those things. I mean, I went my whole life having no clue about them, and I was just mind blown when I learned about it myself at the age of 45 now. So, anyways, so happy Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month. That is April, and also happy April Fool's Day today. So, today I want to talk about something that is really interesting. It's not interesting. I mean, it's interesting, but I want to talk about how we block ourselves and without being like crass here, when you say someone's see blocking you, well, we see block ourselves all the time because of our subconscious programming. And what I mean by that is that I talk about how I'm a hypnotherapist, and what that means is that I go and do hypnotherapy. I bring people into hypnosis, which is a state of mind where they can have suggestions put into their subconscious mind where they will, stay there. And so why that's beneficial is because we have so many things in our subconscious mind that block us. And I talk about this a lot, and I'm going to keep talking about it because it's really important and it's so interesting because I've done so much work on myself and also hypnosis and things like that. Seeing the patterns change my life is just like so remarkable. Seeing myself choose different things, move towards different things is absolutely like remarkable to me. Every time, I have chats with my friends about this, and I'm just like in awe all the time of how I do something completely different from what I would have done in the past. And we think about, how many times have you heard people say, like, oh, you just have to be consistent and, keep doing the habit for 30 days? In theory, that's like great. You can try to build habits that way. That's really, really great. But the problem is that, like, I don't know what that was, but something just like, so in theory, like, that sounds great. But the reality is, if we have subconscious programming that is counteracting that habit we want to build, then the probability of us achieving that is very low and unlikely, unfortunately. And the reason for that is because when you have something so like deeply ingrained in your subconscious, especially if it's rooted around any kind of like wounding or trauma or anything like that, limited beliefs, feelings of unworthiness, abandonment wounds, like the mother or father wound. We have subconscious programming that is really deeply entwined with those things. Then, even if you try to do new things, those that subconscious programming is the programming of your entire like operating system. So it's gonna hack your computer, not hack it, it's already there. It's gonna bypass any other programming you try to you know key in, and the only way to bypass that is with repetition and consistency over time, a long period of time. And it can work with the habit thing, but it'll take a very, very long time of you doing over and over again. But when I say the likelihood of you sabotaging that is because eventually you give it up. How many people have done things and then you find yourself cycling through and repeating the same thing and trying again and then trying again and then failing and all that stuff? And it's because of that subconscious programming. And so when we do hypnotherapy and things like that, well, hypnotherapy specifically, we can go into our subconscious mind and create new programming, a new programming, a new let's just say we're creating a new disk to put in that's saying, no, use this one instead. And so it doesn't mean the old programming disappears, which is interesting because now you have these two things running when you're doing things, two programs running in your CPU. And so, but what happens is that when you create new programming, you have this option to do something different. But the old programming is still going to be there. It's going to still want to pull you back. You know, those grooves, like I talk about, your neural pathways, have been deeply formed. So they don't just magically disappear. I mean, maybe over so much time, if you put deep grooves in the other ones, they might. But usually they don't just disappear. What ends up happening is you create new programming and then eventually you deepen those grooves and that one will run on autopilot. However, it's easy for you to fall back into old patterns because, like, if you, let's just say, like, you know, if you have this habit and you want to do these new things, that's what I always tell you, like, hang out with the people that you want to do those the things that you the people who do the things that you want to do, the people that inspire you, because then you can, as you're developing those new neural pathways and patterns, what ends up happening is that you can be around people who are also similarly creating those patterns or already have those patterns existing, so you can kind of like move at the same frequency. Because if you're trying to create that new pattern, new neural pathways around something, but you're around the people who are here, you're never going to do that. It's going to be so consistently like, it's going to be like one hurdle after another. And it's going to feel like swimming against the current. And with that being said, even if you're here and you've created those new patterns, if you end up going back to that same group of people in the past, falling into those same patterns is like very, very, very common. We see this happen all the time when you see movies and people have, like, you know, especially when, you know, we deal with addiction and things like that. For instance, you can't hang out with people who are like using and things like that anymore. Like, you just can't. You can't hang out with the same type of people because it's just the programming is so deeply, especially when we have addiction, because addiction is always rooted in like, you know, our pain and suffering internally. So we create these coping strategies, and it's not because of any other, like, it's not because, you know, it's a choice. It's something that happens as a result of situations we've been in. And so it creates this very deep track that is really rooted in so much wounding and pain. And so it's difficult to, you're never going to erase that. And so, and that's a very appealing groove. It's very like, you know, calls to and stuff. So you can't hang out with those types of people. And that works with any patterns that we have. And with some patterns, it's a little bit stronger than others. So let's talk about when we want to create new things or when we're choosing new things. Something that is really interesting that happens when you start to heal and change your patterns is all of a sudden, like I said, you start choosing different things. And I'll give you an example. Like, I'll say something like, I would never do that. I used to say something, I would never do this. I would never do this. I would never do this. No, I would never do this. There's something that I would never do or choose in my life. And I remember I would just say this constantly over and over again. And just for the sake of, you know, keeping it, like, not to tell you what the situation is. But the whole point is that now I'm like doing that thing. And it's funny to me because the realization has like struck me that the reason I would always be like, I would never do that is because of my own wounding and my own feelings of unworthiness and not feeling good enough, my own imposter syndrome and things like that. And so it's interesting now that all of a sudden, having done so much work in terms of like healing myself, releasing those wounds, and creating new programming, I'm choosing the thing I always said I would never choose. And it's fabulous. It's better than my wildest dreams. And so it's interesting how a lot of times our programming that we have could make us we always say, like, why is everything not working out for us? Because maybe we're trying to go against the current constantly because of our programming. We're trying to open doors that are not for us. We're trying to pick and choose these things based off of our wounding and patterns instead of going towards where the door is like wide open for us, going, hey, look at this amazing door right here. Why? No, I don't want that door. Screw you. And it's like, why are we not choosing that door? And we've made like a story about, we've created a story about that door and why we don't want that door. But the reality is, the reason we are saying we don't want that door is self preservation, because there's another layer there that we haven't uncovered and looked at yet. And that layer is that we didn't feel good enough, maybe, for that door, that we didn't feel like we can, you know, maybe we weren't able to, we felt like we wouldn't be good enough, like I said, or we felt like we wouldn't be able to succeed there, or we felt like we wouldn't be able to achieve the things. Like when we have imposter syndrome or shame and unworthiness as a wound, that is very, very, very heavy, and it really creates like an entire like jail cell around you. And so when you get to the root of all that, which is really hard because it's buried under multiple layers and it takes time to get there, you'll see that the things that you were rejecting and saying that I didn't want weren't because you didn't really want them. You were just saying that because you felt like you weren't deserving of those things, that you weren't good enough for those things. And so we tell ourselves, I don't want those things. No, it's not for me. It's not, no, it's wrong. And the reality is that it's a self-preservation thing that we weren't even consciously aware of. And so the door that, we weren't choosing and saying it was a crap door that we didn't want. And it's like, I don't want that door. It's not for me. It's not going to work out, that door. We were only saying that because we didn't feel good enough to go through that door. And then when you do your healing and all that stuff, you realize, let's try this door. I mean, I've tried all those other doors that I wanted and they were all awful. Absolutely awful. So let's try the door that I didn't want to go through. And now I realized, once I tried that door and how good it was, that was the epiphany that came to me. I was like this entire time I was just blocking myself. And obviously I'm aware of like how we block ourselves, but it's interesting to see to what degree that is. And so if you have something in your life, the moral of the story is, if you have something in your life that seemingly could be something good for you, or something that keeps like circling back around, and for some reason you've told yourself that no, that is absolutely not for me. No, I don't want that. That's not it's not good for me. I'm not good for that, or whatever it is. If you're telling yourself a story about something repeatedly, then maybe there's something you need to look at underneath the layers there. What's actually happening there? Because if we don't have like a real reason, if I've never been through that door and I have nothing to really base my opinion on that, and I'm just saying, oh no, that door is not, it's not going to work out, I don't want that door, then that is rooted in my fear and that shame and the unworthiness wound that I have underneath all of the layers that I was not aware of, and that it's just kind of the operating system operating below. And so I choose all these other doors here that I just walk through and that don't ever lead me anywhere because they're not for me, those doors. And I keep avoiding the one door that I said, I don't want that door. I don't want that door. Nope, I don't want that door. And so if you've never walked through that door, how do you know you don't want that door? And the answer is what I just said. You're blocking your own self subconsciously. Sorry, I don't want to be crass, but I'm sure you all know what I mean by when I say that, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to type it. I don't want to get flagged on here. But, so yeah, it's a reality that we all have to face. So if you are choosing no on something and you don't have a real substantial reason for why you're saying no to it, and you're just making up like these scenarios as to why it's no, then You absolutely are blocking yourself because you have programming where you feel like you are not good enough. You are not good enough for that thing. But you are. You are good enough. But you have to see that. And nobody else can make you see that. Nobody else can tell you that. Nobody else can show you that. Not a single soul on this earth can show you that. You have to do the work. You need to find the things, the ways to get you there. Whether that is booking a hypnotherapy session with me or doing all the work that you need to for yourself or whatever that looks like for you, you need to be able to do that. Nobody can tell you that. Nobody can make us see that this door is the best door that you could ever possibly ever get in your whole entire life. Because as long as you have that subconscious programming that deep down is telling you that you're not good enough and that you don't deserve it, you're never going to choose the doors that are for you. You're always going to choose the doors that, sorry, my cat, I don't know what happened there, that the doors that aren't for you, or the doors that are mediocre, or the doors that I can be through here, I guess I can settle with this door. It's not going to be the door that's like the most magical, wondrous door for you. And maybe some people will be okay with that. But I know I'm not okay with that. I want the best door. I want the best possible door. And I did the work so that I can choose the best possible door for me. And I hope that you do that too. I want that for you because you deserve that. You deserve the best possible door for you. Okay? That's my message for today. I hope you have a beautiful day. My Changing Your Patterns program, hypnotherapy program, it ended on the special that I had, which was $555 yesterday. So today is no longer that price. It is at the $700 price now. However, next week I'll be speaking for local people in Toronto, well, or in Vaughan, or the GTA. I am going to be a speaker at the Self-Love Expo the Self-Love Experience. Sorry, cat. Stop chewing my wires. Sorry. I will be a speaker at the Self-Love Experience Expo happening this coming Sunday, April 7th. And I'll be a speaker. I will have my own booth there, and I will be giving intuitive guidance readings of tarot and things like that, and speaking to anyone who's there and wants to come chat with me. But I will be a speaker as well. And I'll be up on stage at 4:30 p.m. So if you do want to come check me out, you should come and check me out. And I'll put a link in the comments, and link in down below in the description with where you can purchase tickets if you want to come. And for those who do come to the show, I have a special show price for the program, which is ridiculous. It's only $444, which is so crazy. It's such a crazy price. It's like barely a third of the price of what the program's worth. The program's worth over like $1,200. So I have a special show price of the program. It's a 2-month program, by the way, and multiple hypnotherapy sessions and counseling and energy work, as well as, chat-up calls and things like that. It's an excellent program. I love it. I really believe in it. And so I am happy to offer it. But anyways, check that out. Take care of yourselves. I want you to do the work for yourselves, whatever way you find to do that. Please do it, because I want you to find those doors for yourself, because you deserve these beautiful things in your life. You really do. And I really hope that one day you will see those things. Okay? Take care of yourselves. Much love. Oh, please subscribe and like if you can. I'd really appreciate it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.